Like and subscribe right now, or the spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Aside from the murky waters in the swamp, no one expects these places to be creepy. Unfortunately, we can't detect how the swamp wants to be perceived. In most cases, it hides scary creatures like alligators. The next time you visit a swamp, be prepared for anything. This is why you should never be alone in a swamp. Number 1. Ghosts. It's Halloween night, and Paul and his friends decide to visit the middle of nowhere near Chilliwack in Oviedo, Florida. They find a haunted bridge far off and thought to get close to see what's happening. The area is located outside civilization and is believed to be haunted. The swamp in the neighborhood houses lots of apparitions believed to be ghosts. These spirits often chase people who are too curious to know about their origin. As they approach the area, they start freaking out at the sight of wild animals. They begin scanning the area with a flashlight and car headlight. They hear a weird sound, find a decapitated deer, and then another dead animal. The duo also found a hole in the bridge, but were unsure why it was there. While still in the swamp, the men heard footsteps approaching them and couldn't wait to know who or what it was, but ran for their lives.
Let's go.
Number 2. Burning methane. A little puff of methane makes its way into the atmosphere whenever a cow passes gas. These puffs have a big effect on the climate because methane is a greenhouse gas that's 28 times more powerful than carbon dioxide. Since the Industrial Revolution, methane concentration in the atmosphere has doubled, and 20% of warming experienced by the atmosphere is attributed to the gas. Most methane emitted from aquatic ecosystems is produced by microorganisms living in the deep sediments. These organisms break down organic matter, like dead algae, in a process called methanogenesis. Number 3. Ancient bald cypress. The oldest bald cypress is the 5th oldest tree species in the world. It's found along black rivers meandering black waters in southeastern North Carolina. They're recognized by their gnarly flat tops and huge buttresses made by countless storms. The Black River snake is over 60 miles through portions of Pender, Sampson, and Bladden counties. Seeing the high-quality water emerging from the area, the state of North Carolina designed the Black River, an outstanding water resource, in 1994. This water body is home to rare fish species like the broadtail madam, the santee chub, and numerous mussels from the Cape Fear spike. The bald cypress was accidentally discovered in the 1980s when a professor explored the relationship between tree growth rings and climate. The oldest tree he found dates back 372 AD, but he believed there might be trees older than the river. He investigated further and revealed in 2019 that he'd found one cypress that had existed since 605 BCE during the Babylonian Empire. Number 4. T-34 tank. During World War II, a Russian-built T-34 tank was captured by the Germans and repainted to be used. However, the tank suddenly disappeared and was believed to be stuck in a battle or abandoned. Ironically, the machine wasn't one to be easily abandoned because it was an efficient tool for war. Eventually, about 80,000 more tanks were produced by the Soviets, making it easier to abandon one and use the other. In eastern Estonia, between February to September of 1944, about 100,000 men were killed and over 300,000 wounded during the battle. It was then that the Germans drove this tank into a lake to hide it. Unfortunately, it settled in 12 feet of water. Several decades later, volunteers from a local diving club found it and washed the silt from it. It was then pulled to the shore, and 116 pieces of ammunition were removed. It was taken to the War Museum in Gorodenko for preservation. After the restoration work ended, it was fully on display. Number 5. Missing plane. One random Friday afternoon, a plane wreckage was found in the Great Dismal Swamp, 24 hours after a small Cessna disappeared in the region. The rescue helicopter located the plane on the side of the swamp and raised the alarm. The flight landed in a remote area of over a 100,000-acre swamp. The terrain was so deserted that the rescue team had to use a bulldozer to make a path for the vehicles. It took them 3 hours to get to the location. The police confirmed that 4 people were aboard the helicopter. The 4 people, including the pilot, died in the crash. After losing contact with the plane, the police began combing the woods, but found nothing. It was when they focused on the swamps and the location that they found a clue. The crash was blamed on the poor weather. Number 6. Missing man. A 41-year-old Charlie Jernigan was declared missing after he was last seen leaving a restaurant and never got home. Reports said he went towards Florence. He was 6 feet tall and about 180 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. He was driving a white Ford Taurus before his disappearance. The police announced that anyone with information about his whereabouts should report to them for further investigation. It appeared there was hope in the case after his car was found in a swamp. Although he wasn't inside, this discovery leaves a clue as to where he might be. The police deployed cadaver dogs to the site to scout the area, but the animals didn't find anything. The police also used dive teams and an infrared drone to search the area. The search was difficult due to the terrain. Number 7. Strange furry snake found in Thailand swamp. A furry green snake found in a Thailand swamp baffled locals, who said they'd never seen such an animal before. The man said he saw the snake while walking home. He put it in a jar and took it home to show his family members, who also didn't believe him. However, they kept the 2-foot-long snake in a container and fed it while waiting for the authorities. Neither him nor his family members had seen a snake like that before. He thought it was best for people to be aware of creatures like this while walking around the swamp. He took photos of it and uploaded them to the internet. Many internet users compared the animal to a dragon, while some suggested it was an ordinary snake with moss. The snake species coordinator at Wildlife Ark said that the creature could be a puff-faced water snake with algae growing on its scales. Puff-faced water snakes are mildly venomous and are found in Southeast Asia. Number 8. Endangered Florida panther. Florida panthers are a subspecies of the mountain lion. They're large cats whose bodies are covered in a tawny beige fur, except for their whitish-gray bellies and chest. They also have unique black markings on the tip of their tail, ear, and snout. These panthers measure up to 6 to 7 feet long, with males outshining their female counterparts. These endangered panthers were found throughout the Gulf Coast states and Arkansas. Today, they're limited to the southwestern tip of Florida. They reside in a diversity of warm habitats ranging from upland forests, wetlands, swamps, and stands of saw palmetto. This animal is currently listed as endangered. During the 1970s, only 20 to 30 Florida panthers were in the wild. This figure has increased to 200 in swamplands like Everglades National Park and Big Cypress National Preserve. Because their population is so small, low genetic diversity is a concern. Habitat loss due to urbanization is one of the major reasons for their gradual extinction. Number 9. A shipwreck was found. Ben Raines had been searching for the remains of a plane that went missing in 1860. When he found the remains of the ship near Mobile, he was convinced that he had found it. The vessel, called Clotilda, carried 110 enslaved people from Benin in today's West Africa in 1860. According to the journals kept by the captain, an Alabama plantation owner asked him to pilot the ship. Even though importing enslaved people into America was illegal at the time, Timothy, the plantation owner, assured him of his safety. The sailor carried the enslaved people and brought them to the Mobile. He then transferred them to a boat and burned Clotilda in an attempt to get rid of the evidence of illegal trafficking. Archaeologists working on the site revealed that the ship found was not the Clotilda. However, they continued searching the area for more clues, believing they were close to the truth. While the boat wasn't what they expected, they were convinced that they were close to finding the real deal. Number 10. The skulls of Truk Lagoon. Exploring the Truk Lagoon opens your eyes to the human remains in the area. These fossils take us back to memory lane, when the place used to be a military base. Human leg bones, skulls, and rib bones are scattered in the lagoon. Researchers say about 4,500 people lost their lives during the Operation Hailstone in 1944. The first notable wreck is the Yamagiri wreck, with human remains like leg bones and skulls. Some of them were wedged between metal parts of the ship. The Oit wreck is another place to find human remains. There was about 700 crew on the Oit when Avenger torpedo bombers sank it on the 18th of February 1944. The remains seen in this lagoon are those who didn't survive the attack. If you believe in ghosts, it's best to avoid the Truk Lagoon, as it's believed to be haunted since 1990. Until next time, adios.